Hello everyone, and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The hospital corridor reeked of antiseptic and worry, the kind of strong, sterile odor that lingers on garments long after you leave. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead, too bright for 3 a.m., throwing pallid, merciless shadows on anyone who went beneath them. Steffy Forrester stood outside room 412 with her arms tightly wrapped about herself, as if holding her own body together would prevent everything else from falling apart. Her mascara had given up the struggle, leaving dark streaks that ran like little rivers down her cheeks. She had not noticed. She hadn't noticed much since receiving the call. Taylor Hayes, her mother, slept beneath immaculate white sheets, tubes slithering from her arms, monitors beeping in a calm, constant cadence that was supposed to be reassuring but instead sounded like countdowns. The physicians used jargon like stable and critical but responding, which blurred together in Steffy's ears and meant nothing at all. All she could see was the purple and ugly bruise on Taylor's temple, the 8-stitch cut above her left forehead, and the way her mother's chest rose and fell mechanically because her own lungs were too tired to do it alone. Sheila Carter stood a few feet away, resting against the wall with a look that ranged from boredom to light amusement. Sheila dressed black, always black, as if she were repurposing morning clothes for triumph laps. Her hair was sharply pushed back, emphasizing the harsh angles of her face. She appeared older than Steffy remembered, but no less menacing. Time had sculpted deeper wrinkles around her mouth, but those hard, calculating eyes remained unchanged. Steffy's entire body trembled the instant she noticed Sheila's presence. Not fear, precisely. Something hotter. Something burned behind her sternum, causing her vision to tunnel. "You," Steffy muttered. The word cracked like dried wood. Sheila's lips twisted into the slightest smile. "Hello, Steffy. I heard your mother had a bad fall." "She didn't fall." Steffy's voice was low and trembling. "You pushed her." "You pushed her down those stairs," Sheila said, tilting her head as if she were studying a slightly intriguing painting. "That's a very serious thing to say." "Don't." Steffy took one step forward, followed by another. "Do not play that game with me. Not tonight. Not with her in there like that." Sheila pushed from the wall and slowly straightened. She was taller than Steffy remembered, or perhaps the wrath made everything seem larger. "You have always had such a wonderful imagination. Just like your mother." Steffy's fists clenched. Her claws dug into her palms hard enough to draw blood, but she scarcely felt it. "Do you think this is funny? You think hurting her is a victory?" "I believe," Sheila said softly, "that those who live in glass houses should not cast stones, or push them downstairs, or kidnap the infants, or shoot somebody in the chest." She stopped, letting each recollection sink in like a slap. "But we've both done things we aren't proud of, have we? That was unusual. Was it?" Sheila's voice remained calm and even compassionate. "We both wanted to safeguard our kids. We both crossed lines. The only difference is that I was open about it. You want to disguise your aggression with lovely words like maternal instinct." Steffy breathed in short, agonizing bursts. "Get out. I am waiting for visiting hours. Same as you. You are not family. Neither are you, technically." Sheila's smile tightened. "Not by blood. But blood is not everything, is it? Love is what matters. Loyalty. Sacrifice." She looked at the closed door of room 412. "I loved your mother once. In my own way." "You don't love anyone," Steffy exclaimed. "You use people. You break them. You enjoy it." Sheila looked at her for a long time. "You're shaking." "I'm furious." "You're terrified." Sheila took one step closer. "You are afraid because you know how this will end. You know what happens when someone like me decides someone like Taylor has become inconvenient." Steffy lunged. She hadn't planned it. One moment she was trembling, the next her hands were fisted in Sheila's black sweater, driving her back against the wall. The elder woman's head hit the plaster with a dull thump, but Sheila didn't move. She didn't even seem astonished. Stop it, Steffy screamed, his face inches from Sheila's. Stop it. Stop coming after us. Stop hurting her. Just stop. Tears flowed again, hot and quick. Steffy despised them. I hated how feeble they made her appear. But she couldn't stop them, just as she couldn't stop the shaking. Please, she begged, her voice breaking at the word. Please stop. Sheila returned her gaze, unblinking. For the first time, something sparked in those black eyes, something else than amusement or calculating. It's almost like recognition. Steffy's grasp weakened, but she would not let go. She could not. If she lets go, she could collapse completely. I've begged you before, Steffy replied, her voice raw. That was years ago. I begged you to leave us alone. You laughed. You claimed I was dramatic. You stated that Taylor would never be safe if she continued to get in your way. And now look at her. Her voice broke again. Look what you did. Sheila remained mute. Steffy's brow dipped forward till it rested on Sheila's shoulder. The fabric of the sweater felt scratchy on her skin. She didn't care. She was too exhausted to care. I can't do this anymore, Steffy murmured. I can't keep watching people I care about get wounded because of you. I can't keep being terrified every time my phone rings. I can't keep explaining to my kids why Grandma is bruised again. I can't. Her shoulders began to shake with cries that she couldn't hold back. The sound was ugly and shattered, unlike the calm, powerful Steffy Forrester the world was accustomed to witnessing. Right now, she was only a daughter. Just a fearful, fatigued girl who has run out of options for fighting. Please, Sheila. The words seemed muffled against the dark wool. I am begging you. Stop. Sheila remained motionless for many seconds. He did not speak, did not push her away. Then, slowly and very unwillingly, one of Sheila's hands rose. It lingered in the air for a while, unsure, before gently landing on the back of Steffy's head. Not really a caress. Not quite comfortable. Something in between. Do you think I can just stop? Sheila mumbled. Steffy had never heard her voice that soft before. Do you think there is an off switch? That I wake up one morning and realize I am done being myself? Steffy did not respond. She could not. She was crying so hard. I've tried, Sheila said almost to herself. More frequently than you realize. I have tried walking away. I've tried to disappear. I attempted to be someone else. It never lasts. The hunger returns. The necessity. The rage. Her fingers tightened slightly in Steffy's hair. Do you think you're the only one who is tired? Steffy lifted her head, eyes puffy and stained. Then leave. Leave Los Angeles. Leave the nation. Leave the planet if necessary. Just go somewhere we can't find you, and let us breathe. Sheila's gaze moved past her to the closed hospital door. She'll never let me leave, you know. Even if I disappeared tomorrow, she'd spend the rest of her life watching over her shoulder. Wondering. Waiting. Isn't that the actual punishment? Not the bruises. Not in the blood. The waiting. Steffy wiped her face with the back of her hand. You did that to her. You instilled that dread in her. And she instilled it in me first, Sheila explained simply. We put this cage together, block by brick. Now we're both locked inside. Steffy took a step back, eventually releasing Sheila's sweater. Her fists left wrinkles in the cloth. She felt hollowed out and scraped raw. I hate you, she murmured, but her words lacked passion. They were merely facts. I know, Sheila said. They stood silently for a long time. Nurses passed. A doctor rushed past with a clipboard. Someone was quietly crying somewhere down the corridor. Life continued on anyway. Steffy eventually spoke again, her voice barely above a whisper. If you've ever loved her, if there's even a tiny part of you that recalls how it felt, then stop this. For her. Not for me. Not for Finn. This is not for anyone else. Sheila gave her a genuine glance. Not using calculus. Not with mockery. Just looked. I don't know how, she murmured, and for the first time, Steffy trusted her. Steffy gulped hard. Then figured out. Alternatively, leave. Those are the only two options left, she said, turning aside to face the entrance of room 412. Her hand remained on the doorknob for a long time before she pushed it open. Inside, Taylor appeared smaller than Steffy had ever seen her. Steffy's chest ached from its fragility. She crossed the room on glass-like legs and slid into the chair beside the bed. She took her mother's hand and held it against her own wet cheek, taking care not to touch the foreline. "I'm here, Mom," she whispered. "I'm right here." Sheila stood behind her, at the doorway, observing. "I'm just watching. No words. There's no movement. Only quietness." Steffy did not turn around. She did not need to. She already knew what she was going to see. She already knew what was going to happen next. And somewhere deep inside, where hope and despair coexisted, a tiny, stubborn part of her continued to utter the same broken appeal into the darkness. "Please." Steffy's voice cut through the tumult like a raw, breaking thread. "Please stop." She screamed, the words wrenched from her chest as she raced forward, arms spread, desperation flashing in her eyes. Her heart hammered so hard it felt like it would crush her ribcage. Every instinct in her body screamed danger, dread, and helplessness all at once. She had seen scary times in the past, but nothing prepared her for what she was seeing today. Sheila's grip was relentless. Her expression was wild, with a terrifying serenity layered atop something much darker, more unhinged. Her hand pushed forward with vicious determination, and the air in the room felt thick and oppressive, as if even oxygen was frightened to move. Steffy's mother was stuck, vulnerable, and in the crosshairs of a lady with a violent and obsessional past. "Stop it, Sheila." Steffy cried again, her voice faltering and tears streaming down her cheeks. "This is not you. You don't need to do this. Please don't hurt my mom." Time seemed to drag on forever. Steffy's mind rushed through memories of her youth, of laughter and comfort, and of her mother's arms wrapping around her when the world seemed too huge. Those memories merged suddenly with the present, with the dreadful threat of losing everything in an instant. Her mother attempted to speak, her voice wavering but calm enough to convey strength intended solely for Steffy. "It's okay, sweetheart," she whispered quietly, dread flashing in her eyes. "You need to stay back." But Steffy couldn't. She would not. Her legs felt shaky, but she forced herself to stand steady and move closer despite the danger. Every part of her was trembling, yet underlying the fear came a fierce, unwavering determination. This was her mom. It was her family, and she wouldn't stand by and let Sheila trash it. "Sheila, look at me," Steffy urged, lowering her voice and taking a fresh approach. "Look at me. You do not want to do this. Think about what you are doing. Consider the implications." Sheila's eyes twitched briefly, something unreadable moving through them. The room was silent except for ragged breathing and Steffy's cries. Steffy felt hope for a fleeting moment. Perhaps she was getting through. Perhaps there was yet an opportunity. But then Sheila laughed, a quiet, disturbing sound that chilled Steffy's blood. "You always did think you could control everything," Sheila replied, her tone harsh. "You, with your ideal life and flawless family. You don't understand what it's like to have everything ripped away from you." Steffy shook her head forcefully. "You are wrong. I know. I have lost individuals. I have been hurt. But this is not the answer. Hurting my mother would not alleviate the anguish you are experiencing." Her remarks were motivated by desperation, love, and the pure horror of what could come next. She took another step forward, ignoring her mother's warning glance and the voice in her head telling her she might be making matters worse. "Sheila, please," Steffy said quietly, her voice cracking entirely. "If you have ever cared about anyone, if there is even a part of you that knows right from wrong, let her go." Her mother's eyes welled up with tears as she watched Steffy plead. There was pride, anguish, and a deep sadness that no parent should ever have to experience. She wished to shield her daughter from this nightmare, but she was unable. Sheila's jaw constricted. The wrath that had been simmering beneath her serenity finally surfaced, and her composure cracked like thin ice. "Do you think this is about right and wrong?" she snapped. Do you believe the world was ever fair to me? Steffi gasped at the abrupt change in tone, but she did not back down. Maybe it didn't, she remarked gently. You still have an option. You still get to choose who you are right now. The words lingered thick in the air. For a millisecond, everything appeared suspended. Fear, wrath, and hope were all entangled. Steffi's hands were squeezed into fists at her sides, her nails cutting into her palms as if the pain would keep her grounded. Her thoughts turned to her children, their faces, and the vow she'd made to always return home to them. She thought of her spouse and the life she had battled so hard to preserve. And she remembered her mother, the lady who had always served as her anchor and source of strength. I won't let you hurt her, Steffi whispered, her voice steady despite the tears. Her mother exclaimed, You'll have to go through me first. Steffi, no. But Sheila's brows tightened, her gaze firmly fixed on Steffi. Would you do that? She asked softly. Would you put yourself in danger? Yes, Steffi said without hesitation. Because that is what love is. It's safeguarding the people you care about, even when you're scared. The space became smaller, with the walls closing in as tension coiled tighter and tighter. Steffi felt her heart pounding and tasted terror on her tongue, but she refused to let it paralyze her. She stood firm, a barrier powered by love and desperation. Sheila, Steffi said, her voice barely above a whisper. This ends right now. Please, let her go. Tears flowed down Steffi's cheeks, each one a quiet prayer. She was unsure whether her words would reach Sheila, or if anything could. But she had to try. She had to trust that somewhere, deep inside, there was still some humanity remaining. Her mother pressed her eyes tight, saying Steffi's name as if it were her own prayer. The tie between them was almost physical, like a lifeline snaking across the room, refusing to shatter under the weight of terror. Seconds dragged on, thick and oppressive. Steffi's legs shook, but she did not move. She refused to run. She refused to look away. Then, gradually, Sheila's grasp loosened. Only little. It was hardly discernible, but Steffi noticed it. Her breath seized in her throat, and hope surged brutally through her chest. That's it, Steffi said urgently. That is it. You are doing the correct thing. Just let go, Sheila said, her countenance twisted with fury and turmoil. You have no idea what you're asking, she said. Maybe not, Steffi responded. But I know what I am begging for. My mother's life. Please. The request was raw, free of pride, fear, and anything else. It was pure and desperate love. Steffi took another cautious step forward, hands up, movements slow and deliberate. Her mother watched in horrified silence, tears running down her cheeks. She had never been more proud of her daughter or more concerned for her safety. Sheila, Steffi remarked quietly, this does not have to define you. You may stop. Right now. The air was thick with tension as Sheila's breathing became irregular. For a while, it appeared as if the entire globe was holding its breath. Steffi's heart beat as she waited, every nerve screaming and every muscle braced to react. She understood that one wrong move, one wrong word, might send everything over the edge. Please stop, she said quietly one more time, her voice barely audible, but full of everything she had. And in that vulnerable, terrible moment, all Steffi could do was stand there, imploring, loving, and hoping with every ounce of her being that it would be enough.